I've confronted hundreds of men over 2 decades. Men online looking for children to sexually assault.
Well, Cody, I'm Chris Hansen.
I know who you are.
I tried to get into their heads and understand why.
But you have it on your phone.
That's true.
And ultimately make sure they face justice.
Can I just give you some money and leave?
I don't want money. I want the truth.
These are the predators I've caught. I'm Chris Hansen. As I record this episode, I am actually in the great state of Florida, and we're working in Polk County with Sheriff Grady Judd and his team on a predator sting. As you know, we've worked in Polk County many times before. They have a wonderful team. By the time you see this episode and hear it, we'll be finished, which is why I'm talking about it now. But already we are into day 3, will be today, and we have caught 3 different men trying to exploit teenagers. It doesn't seem to end. One of the men is the CEO of an assisted living facility here in Florida. 62 years old, this man is, married, children, grandchildren, an MBA, and here he is, trying to meet a teenage boy for a sexual hookup. We'll have more on all of that in the Takedown episodes to come on my streaming crime network, True Blue, and you'll see those in the weeks to come. But in this episode, I wanted to talk about someone we caught way north of here. Jared Weaver, who surfaced during one of our ghost operations in Genesee County, Michigan, in May of 2024. Jared was a predator investigation first. He said he was lured to the sting house by none other than Satan. That's right, the devil made him do it. That's the first time I can remember getting that excuse, although maybe it's true in many of the cases we covered. Jared was 30 years old, and he, at the time, and I believe he still is, part owner of a company that builds temporary sheds and buildings. You know, the kind you see in your backyard, and sometimes for light industrial outfits. And his part of the business was to drive the parts of these sheds all over mid-Michigan and deliver them so they can be put together. There's a big trailer attached to his pickup truck, and he drops off loads of these buildings. But on this night in Genesee County, he was apparently trying to drop off a load of a different sort. That's right. Jared had been chatting online with someone he thought was a teenage girl. He said he wanted to engage in sucking and fucking. He said he was 30 years old, well hung and clean. He said, "I'd really like to fuck you. Do you squirt?" And he was going to pay her $80 for sex. Now, initially, he would claim that he thought the girl was 19 because you had to be 19 to make a post on this particular site she was on. But the decoy makes it very clear that she's really 15. And this happens. Underaged sex workers and vulnerable children get on these sites trying to make money for whatever combination of reasons. And they fall prey to men like Jared Weaver. Jared would later say that initially he thought the girl was 19 years old because that's the age she had to put in order to get on the site where he found her. But she makes it very clear, the decoy does, that she's only 14 and says it over and over again in the chat. And he admits this later, that she did tell him that. Now, he'll claim that he was just going to check it out, and that, in fact, if she was underage, he wasn't going to do anything. I didn't believe him then, and I don't believe him now. Jared would tell me that he is a born-again Christian, and that in his church, he learns that Satan is constantly tempting all of us. And in this case, Jared fell victim to that temptation. There's no mistaking his intent. He sends a video of himself masturbating, and we'll ask him about that in just a moment. Who does that? I mean, does any woman out there of any age want to see a potential suitor, no matter what the circumstances are, send a video like that? Jared told me he thought it would turn her on. She's 14, Jared. How about scarring her for life? How about that? Jared wasn't thinking that way. Apparently, they don't teach that at his church during Bible study. Now, I'm not, being a smartass about born-again Christians or church or religion. I have a deep respect for it all, no matter what faith. But it does drive me crazy when people try to hide behind their faith in some sort of a defense of horrible behavior, to use it to make themselves not look as bad when they commit a crime like this, when they try to exploit a child. No real religious person would do that. At least that's my opinion.
So I'm about 25 minutes away.
Okay.
So if that works for you.
Yep. I'll be here. I'll be ready.
Everyone gets into position. I'm in the hallway awaiting Jared's arrival.
He's getting out now.
So here comes Jared after this chat. And like so many other predators, they have no problem exploiting a child, ruining a child's life, committing a felony. But they'll take their shoes off, their work boots, as they come into the house. They don't want to soil the floor, but they'll soil a child.
How many loads did you have to do?
I had a couple that had to run out towards Bruce Township area.
Wow, that's a long drive.
Yeah.
So are you ready for another load?
Yeah, I gotta go back to Claire.
The decoy, the on-site decoy, asks him about his day, how many loads he had to drop off. Now, that's obviously a double entendre there. One that goes over Jared's head, actually. He talks about his real job.
So I'll be right back. I have to go grab my beat.
Sure.
The decoy says she'll be right back. She just has to go grab her vape. And so Jared's standing there, waiting for this to happen, waiting for his sexual rendezvous with a child. But that's not going to happen on this evening in Genesee County, because I'm about to confront Jared.
Hey, how you doing? Good. You just sit right over there.
Okay.
Good try. Keep your hands up.
Sure.
What's going on?
I had a bad gut feeling about this.
You had a bad gut feeling.
Yeah.
Jared complies, sits where he's supposed to, as you can see. Tells me he had a bad gut feeling about the whole thing.
What was your bad gut feeling? Say, I understand.
I had a bad gut feeling that this was not the place to be, but she said she was 19, so.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. What was your plan here tonight?
I had a plan of checking it out.
Checking it out.
Yep, I did. So.
Checking it out in what way?
Well, I had a plan of checking it out as far as like seeing if she was actually 19, because I saw the ad.
Right.
And it disappeared. So.
But she told you during the conversation she was 15.
Yeah, but I said I'm not having sex with anybody under 18.
Well, there was a different conversation.
Jared's going to try to sanitize the conversation, but I have the transcripts, as always. And it's pretty clear, and you heard what he said earlier, that he wanted to have sex with this child. More about this predator I've caught in a moment. I've been investigating predators going after our children for more than 20 years. But did you know there are also predators who may be going after your own home, your biggest investment? Just think about this. When was the last time you checked your home title? That's the legal record proving that you own your home. If the answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles and your equity is the target. It happens all the time. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee to your county, and just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. That's why I have partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. It's frightening how frequently this happens. Use my promo code Hansen at HomeTitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you'll get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's a 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code Hansen. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Hansen, Hansen. We have it on our home. You should too. Jared tries to spin a tale, but I reveal to him that I know everything. But first, I ask him about his job, which takes him all over the middle part of Michigan. And it makes you wonder, how many other times has he done this?
Now, your name is Jared?
Yeah.
And how old are you, Jared?
I'm 30.
You're 30.
Yeah.
And what do you do for a living?
I deliver buildings.
Buildings?
Yeah.
What kind of buildings?
Like portable buildings.
Portable buildings. So you have a truck?
Yeah.
So you drive these loads of buildings around and you drop them off?
I do.
And then you came here to drop off a different kind of load?
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't going to.
All right. So now the chat indicates something different. So let's talk about what you did say online.
Now, I ask at this point what Jared meant by all the things in the chat. And basically, he just admits that he meant what it looks like he meant.
There's talk about sucking and fucking. You say you're 30 years old, well hung and clean. What did you mean by that?
That means that I'm 30 years old, well hung and clean.
Well hung and clean. Clean how?
Clean as well. Like I would say that I'm clean. Like I don't.
You don't have any sexually transmitted diseases.
Right. Correct.
Okay. And then you sent a naked picture of yourself.
Correct.
Correct.
But that was before I knew that she was supposedly not
15.
19. Yeah. Correct.
And I'm going to ask him specifically about this video he sent.
And then you sent a video.
Correct.
Of yourself masturbating.
Yes.
In what possible universe does a young woman want to see that?
Well, that's true.
I mean, I don't get that. Is there some culture I don't know about where women like to see a man masturbate?
No, you're exactly
a man they've never met before?
True.
A man who's twice their age?
Correct.
But you thought it was okay to masturbate on a video you sent to someone who said they were 15?
Correct.
You thought that was okay?
No, it's not okay, but I didn't understand that she wasn't 19.
Right, she made it pretty clear at some point in the conversation, though, right?
Yeah.
And why would you send a video of yourself masturbating to anyone, much less a teenager?
You're right. I shouldn't have.
But what was the purpose of it? Help me to understand.
What was the purpose of it? Was so that way she could get excited.
Get excited or turned on. What teenage child would get excited or turned on by this? They'll get scarred by it, damaged by it, but certainly not turned on, Jared.
And you think that you masturbating on a video would turn on a girl?
Correct.
Has that worked before?
I've never done it before.
So just today...
That's true.
You decided to masturbate on video and send it to this girl.
No, I actually had it saved in my videos.
You had it saved in your videos.
Yeah.
One of your precious little videos.
Yep, that I always sent my wife.
You sent your wife that.
Yeah.
And your wife likes that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's right. Jared said he had already made the video and saved it. Something he used to send to his wife. She liked it, he claims. Not sure I believe him.
She likes that.
Yeah, that's right.
So you figured if your wife likes it, this girl would like it too.
Probably, yeah.
Do you think your wife would like you sending the masturbation video to this girl?
Absolutely not.
And where's your wife tonight?
She's at home and she's a good woman.
She's at home and she's a good woman.
Yep.
And where's the home?
And I have apologies to make. She lives in Clare, Michigan.
That's right. Jared's wife is at home. At home with their 1-year-old child, as he's supposed to be working, dropping off loads. Jared says he's got apologies to make. That's an understatement.
And you're here in Montrose, Michigan.
That's correct.
To meet a girl.
That's correct.
With whom you've had a sexually charged conversation.
Correct.
A girl who told you she was a teenager.
Correct.
And you come over here after a hard day's work to drop another load.
Well,
to have sex with her.
I was not going to if I detected. Okay, so I said, I texted her very clearly. I said, I will not have sex with anybody.
That's not what you said. I have the chance.
Not only is he misleading me about what he said online, he went on to talk about doing it raw. He says, I can't wait to see you so we can have sex. And then he asks someone who's told him they are a teenage girl, do you need a vibrator or will my dick make you come? He says that. And this is after the age is given out.
Okay.
Some of the things you did say, though, include, I'd love to fuck you, babe. Do you squirt?
Okay.
What did you mean by that?
I meant, do you actually squirt?
When she reaches climax?
Yeah.
As you can tell, Jared is a literal guy. Unfortunately, he doesn't take the literal meaning of the Bible when he goes out to drop his loads.
You ask if you should bring a condom.
Correct.
If you're not going to have sex, why would you bring a condom?
I was going to have sex at that point.
You were going to have sex.
Right. I believe that was before I'd actually asked her. She was 19.
I hope you're really horny for me. She says, just be nice to me. I'm 15. You're 15. You confirmed this a couple times. Yes. Then you say you want to get pregnant.
Right. That's why I asked it, because she said she's 15. I'm like, well, why are you out screwing around with people carelessly? Is what I meant by that. So why do you want to get pregnant?
Did you want to impregnate her?
Absolutely no.
Can we have sex raw, you ask?
Correct.
That doesn't seem like you're being very careful there.
Correct. Well, that was the question, is basically by asking that, I was asking her, do you have sex raw? So if somebody has sex raw or doesn't, if they do it covered, that means that they're careful, is my thing. So if somebody says, hey, you know, we'll have sex, but it's with a condom.
But you were willing to have raw sex with her without a condom?
Absolutely no. I've never had raw sex with anybody but my wife.
I can't wait to see you and have sex with you. Then you ask, do you need a vibrator to come? Or will my dick make you come?
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring a vibrator?
Absolutely no.
Do you have condoms with you?
I do in the truck.
In the truck?
Yeah.
Is that your truck or the company truck?
It's a company truck, but I'm part owner of the
Part
business.
How are your partners in that business going to feel about all this?
Oh, I got some apologies to make.
Some apologies to make.
Yep.
And this is the part where we get into Satan's role in all this. Now, I have no doubt that some guys are influenced by evil. And some people believe the devil, Satan himself, tempts humans to do bad things, right? I get all that. But I think Jared is using this as an excuse for bad behavior.
Correct.
At any point, you could have said, nah, it's a bad idea. I'm going to go home to my wife.
I actually did feel like it was a bad idea.
You did.
Yeah.
But you came anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Explain that to me, Jared.
I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
So I vowed to my wife, and I broke that vow. Now Satan wants me to go a little further and a little further. And so therefore I felt like it was a bad idea. But
the devil made you do it.
He lured me in here. I come into the house with the conscience. If this seemed to be a little fishy, I was walking out. I'm serious.
Fishy how?
Well, because in the ad it was 19. She stated that she was 15.
Right. So you knew she was 15. She told you this.
Well,
so you could have said, whoa, I'm not going to do this. It's wrong. You're 15. That would be illegal for a 30-year-old to have sex with a 15-year-old.
I told her right away. I said, that's illegal. I said, I'm not. Actually, I didn't say it's illegal. I said, I'm not having sex with anybody that isn't 18.
Right. But Satan made you do it.
Well, Satan urged us along, and you're right. I needed this wake up.
You needed this wake up?
Yep, I do.
How did Satan make you do this?
Because Satan wants us to do a little more and a little more.
Until?
He is. Until we do something that we shouldn't.
Are you a religious fellow, Jared?
I am. I'm a born-again Christian.
Born-again Christian. Where do you go to church?
I go to church up in Farwell.
And do they talk about the devil making you go have sex with a teenage girl at church where you go?
No, but they do teach the Bible, and the Bible says that basically the Bible says that you're going to be drawn by your lusts and your whatever. And so therefore, to me, the way I look at the devil is little by little, he gets you to places that you shouldn't be.
And Jared is definitely in a place he shouldn't be. If what you've heard shocks you so far, join us back in a moment. And listen to this. Jared admitted to me that he had met women online before for sex. Not underage, but women who were in their 30s. 3 times, he said, he met women online, had sex with them. And that ultimately he copped out to this, to his wife. And they agreed to put an app on each other's phones called Accountable to You, which means they could check on each other, make sure they weren't doing anything nefarious. Now, there's no indication that Jared's wife had ever done anything even remotely close to this. She's part of the collateral damage in this. But apparently, Satan was very busy when it comes to Jared, because Jared had deactivated his Accountable to You app. So his wife would have no idea what he was doing on this night in May of 2024, trying to meet this child. I asked Jared how he'd feel if his wife acted in the same way, went out to try to meet a 15-year-old boy for sex. He said he wouldn't like it, but he would forgive her. But don't you have personal responsibility as a 30-year-old man who's married?
I do.
To not do what Satan tells you to do or suggests you to do?
You're exactly right.
So this devil made me do it excuse isn't that great of an excuse, is it?
I have personal accountability and responsibility.
What if your wife went out at 10:35 at night after a sexually charged conversation with a 15-year-old boy and was talking about having sex with him? How would you feel about that?
I would forgive her.
You would forgive her?
Yeah.
Even if she had this kind of talk about condoms and doing it raw?
Yeah, I would forgive her, but I will say this, that it would be hard.
Would Jared's wife forgive him? We've reached out, but we haven't heard back. In fact, Jared reached out on the very night of his arrest to his wife, home alone with their 1-year-old son. Well, Jared, there's something you need to know.
Okay.
I'm Chris Hansen.
Okay.
And we do a show called Takedown.
Okay.
Where we exposed men who try to have sex with kids
Yeah.
after a sexually charged conversation online, and this is that show.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want people to know about the situation you're in right now?
Not besides be respectful to your wives.
And you didn't do that
And be
tonight, did you?
responsible. That's correct.
Is there anything you want to say to your wife right now?
Jared then does something no other alleged predator has done before. He asks to make a phone call to his wife.
Could I call her?
Go ahead.
On this night, Jared's wife did not pick up. He was arrested by the Genesee County Sheriff's Ghost Team and charged with several felonies related to meeting a child online and traveling for sex. Ultimately, Jared pleaded guilty to one count of using a computer to commit a crime. He was given 5 years probation and now is a registered sex offender in Michigan. Curious about where Jared and our most notorious predators are now? We are too, and that's why we have partnered with truthfinder.com to track down predators we've busted over the years to give you the facts on their past and the scoop on what happened to them after our show. This is your weekly Truthfinder Predator Update brought to you by our friends at truthfinder.com. We got on Truthfinder to search Jared Weaver. And in fact, he was telling the truth in terms of having never been in trouble with the law before. There was no record of that. And there was no record of him having gotten into trouble after his arrest in Genesee County. And Truthfinder also shows that he is, in fact, a registered sex offender in Michigan. And that's one of the great benefits of Truthfinder. You can quickly learn the background of someone and decide whether or not you need to launch a further investigation or decide whether this person is trustworthy. To get answers you're looking for and to discover information on potential predators, go to truthfinder.com and also follow our weekly Truthfinder Predator Update to see what we can uncover next. I should also say that Truthfinder is very helpful to us during our investigations. For instance, just last night, a man showed up and we wanted to know more about his background. Now, law enforcement has the ability to do this, but sometimes we get just as much, if not more, information from Truthfinder, and it helps me to be a better journalist and to ask better questions. Thank you, Truthfinder. More of our story in a moment. As you know, I'd like to hear from you. And this week's question comes from Nick in Rhode Island.
Hey, Chris, Nick from Rhode Island here. My question is a two-parter. I live near a halfway house that's specifically meant for sex offenders that are being reintegrated back into society after prison. I drive by it pretty often, and I'm just so grossed out that I live in such close proximity to these people. And given their likelihood to reoffend, it's like living down the street from like an explosive stockpile, in my opinion. Have you considered coming back up into New England for any further stings? It's such a densely populated area of people and such a concentration of sex offenders, depending on the area, that it seems like fertile ground journalistically. The other thing that I was interested in asking about is if you would share any more about your time doing college radio, which you've mentioned doing before. That's something that, in my opinion, is kind of a lost art and genuinely changed my life as it got me into the entertainment industry in my 20s. What kind of show did you have? Were you spinning music? If so, what? Anything about your experience doing that would be cool to hear about, because I'm sure a lot of your listeners probably don't know a whole lot about that corner of the entertainment world. Hope you and your family are doing well. Please keep up the good work. If you find yourself back in Rhode Island at any point, hot wieners and coffee milk on me. Take care.
Thank you, Nick, for your generous offer. I do like Rhode Island. I've been up there a number of times. Newport is great. Block Island is wonderful. A lot of great places in Rhode Island. But it is very concerning when you have a facility like that, a halfway house for people convicted of sexual crimes in your area. And I understand why you would be concerned, and I would be too. I think it's important to be vigilant, and don't be shy about reporting any nefarious activity to law enforcement. I mean, obviously, there is a place in society for homes and facilities like this, but you have to wonder if it's a good idea to have a facility like that in a residential area, especially if there's kids involved. And I think it speaks to the larger issue of the importance of the sex offender registry. At least we know where they are. And you could argue that once these guys are sentenced and serve their time, their probation, that they need to be integrated back into society. But this is a different sort of crime. I mean, will Jared offend again? I don't know. I mean, he got caught cheating on his wife 3 times, deactivated his app so that she could check on his activity. I hope he doesn't offend again. But at least he's on the registry. He has to report. And these guys are too. But Nick, I got to tell you, I'd be concerned as well. In terms of my radio background, well, when I went off to Michigan State University on the first or second day, I went over to the campus radio network, the Michigan State Radio Network, Michigan State University, and I signed up for the news department and pretty quickly became a news reporter. And we learned on the job how to put together a radio newscast. We had a wonderful facility in the basement of the Student Services Building, and we could edit different shows. We could have access to the ABC radio news feed, and we would put together a 5-minute newscast pretty much daily. We had a schedule. I used to cover the ASMSU, the student government body. And once a week, they would have these lengthy meetings, and we would set up microphones, and we had a sound mixing board, and I had a co-anchor. Charles was his name, Charlie. He was a great guy. Lived in the dorm, not too far from me. And the second year I worked in college radio, I was actually the assistant news director. And then I met a bunch of fellows from Rochester, New York, Andre Marcel, Ross Holland, who was from the Lansing area. And they had a business called The Music Machine, and they would do mobile disco parties. And they had me be one of their DJs. It was a great way to make money in college. And soon thereafter, I got a job in commercial radio while still at Michigan State at WJIM Radio. And WJIM was both radio and television. So on one side it was radio, the other side was television. And they had built the studio so that it could be a hotel if the radio TV business ever went under, was the story I got. And they had a built-in pool there. It was like a resort. And we had the keys because we'd go in and do the radio newscast for WJIM. And we could go there and take a dip in the pool when we wanted to, which was pretty cool. But it was there that I met a gentleman named Howard Lancourt. He was the anchor of the CBS television station, Connected. And I'd be working late in radio, and he'd be putting together the 11 o'clock show, and we got to be pals. And he was hired away to go to the NBC station, where he was not only anchor, but news director. And as a senior at Michigan State University, I was able to convince him, against his better judgment, to hire me as a part-time television reporter at TV 10 Action News. And that's where it all started, the last half of my senior year. And that's where it began. Thank you, Nick, for allowing me to go down memory lane. Those were great days. Great learning in radio. Great sense of timing. You learn how to tell stories without pictures. Great experience. And a very, very lucky break for this reporter. You can find me all over social media at Chris Hansen on X, official Chris Hansen on Instagram. TikTok, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen. We put up a lot of content there. Check it out. Cameo, should you ever desire. We just got through a very busy fantasy football season for Cameo. My streaming crime network, True Blue, TRUBLU. Watch trueblue.com for details. New episodes of Takedown. Our Predator investigations drop every single Thursday. You'll see the ones I'm working on at this moment in the next several weeks, as I mentioned. And remember, if you don't know already, I have a second podcast now called Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, where we do compelling interviews on crime-related topics. Have a Seat with Chris Hansen drops every Wednesday, the same feed as this podcast. And as always, you can find me right here at chris@predatorpodcast.com. I'll be watching and listening.